Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ask ServiceMonster show, where you have questions about your service business and we have your answers. Today, our ongoing discussion on Facebook monetization, how to build an audience and use Ad Manager in the most effective way possible. I've been going through this exercise quite a bit over the last couple weeks. It's where my head's been at. It's partly why I'm doing this series, because my information is fresh in my mind as I learn it. And over the last week, my marketing team and I have been kind of focused on audiences and how we set up audiences and map those to objectives in order to get the best overall conversion rates. So let's talk about a couple pieces of terminology real quick, because they're being thrown around. And I just want to make sure you guys have a grounding. Simple stuff, right? SEO, search engine optimization. Basically, keywords on your page and enough links from credible sources where Google understands that when a client searches for X keywords, your website will come up. So that's a pretty standard one. How about conversion? The concept of bringing someone to your page as a visitor and then converting them into an actual, and then this is where it gets a little tricky, goal. So we'll say goal. A lot of times the conversion goal is a lead, and then you follow up via phone to close the sale. Sometimes the conversion is an actual sale. So it depends on who you're talking to and what their business model is, their definition of conversion, but it's essentially enacting action from a client. How do you just generate enough interest and an audience that's interested in your product that will, or service, that will go to your site and then convert? Or in the case of a service provider, a lot of times we either want to drive them to the website or drive them straight to the phone with a phone call, which would be great. Well, the first thing I want you to do is kind of picture a funnel, right? A sales funnel, if you will. And at the top is our broadest audience. And as we move down, we redefine the audiences and they get smaller each time. We're removing the audiences that we have from the smaller audiences from the top audience. Maybe a little theoretical. Let me try to convert that for you. So let's say we develop an audience for a service company that's targeting all 25 to 65-year-old people who have an interest or are shown to have home ownership. That's the broadest we can make it, right? Your demographic is really 25 to 55-year-old home-owning females with kids and or pets. Do you want to get that specific? Probably not to start with. So what we'll do is we create an audience targeting in your geographic location 25 to 65-year-old homeowners. At that point, you want to target those guys with brand awareness campaigns or video view campaigns, trying to get them engaged and get them aware of your brand. Will some of them go to your site and visit? Yes. Will some of them convert? Maybe. You'll have to throw a lot of horsepower to make a brand building mission or goal convert to actual leads within the process itself. It's not what Facebook's going to be targeting its algorithm for. Keep in mind that Facebook's going to match the goal that you set. That's the algorithm it's going to apply. And so even if you have something that's converting leads really well, if it's in a brand awareness campaign, then who cares? Facebook's not going to play that very often compared to something else that gets more actual views and engagement. So pay attention to that stuff. So we have this audience, very broad audience. We're running video views and brand awareness campaigns. Now, if you set up your pixels correctly, we talked about the pixels in the last video, when a client or prospect comes from your Facebook ad to your website, Facebook will track that. And so you can actually target an audience of video views and people who've visited your website and people who have engaged with your content. That's impressive, because then you can take that big, giant group of people in your area and really hone that down to people who have already engaged with you. In this case, you're going to want to do engagement campaigns, maybe even traffic campaigns. And then when those guys fill out a lead form, or if they come to your site, maybe you leave the video views out, you develop yet a smaller audience, and then perhaps just the prospect audience that has filled out something on your website, and then a very last audience might be your client audience. That audience list kind of funneled down does some very powerful things. Remember that ad sets control your budget. So let's say we throw $15 at every single one of our ad sets within our campaigns, and that we have identified our target: number 1, brand awareness; number 2, video views; number 3, engagement; number 4, traffic; number 5, conversion. And so if we're looking at that list in order, we want to picture drawing prospects in and drawing them down those ads and those ad sets to the point where they convert. You'll notice that traffic converts quite a bit, but conversions are really where Facebook's going to try to make those numbers match as much as possible. Let's say that we've taken $15 and we've placed it against each one of the ad sets. Your first audience may be 150,000 people. $15 towards 150,000 people a day. Now your next audience, that could be 50,000 people who have visited your website, fill out a form, or viewed your video. And you can control that too. Have they viewed 3 seconds of it or 10 seconds of it? You can kind of set your metric there. But that $15 is now being targeted daily towards 50,000 people. So now they're seeing it maybe a little bit more. They're more likely to see it on any given day. And they've already started to show interest in your company and the services that you provide. Then you've got $15 a day towards ad sets against something a little more granular. So we toss out the video views. Now it's only people who have visited your website or have filled out the lead request form. So you can kind of see where I'm going here. Each time the ratio of spend per potential individual within the market increases dramatically. And so the more they engage with you, the more content they're going to see. Incidentally, that's how Facebook's algorithms work naturally. So they know that that works. And so when you set up your campaigns to work within that natural ecosystem, you're going to get better results. It takes time. You're not going to convert somebody off the first ask, but as if you watch my videos long enough, you'll know that's not the way we do things anyways. That's not the way brand building works. So I wanted to kind of focus on that, give you the conceptual layout and build that funnel. And then make sure as you're building those audiences, you're excluding the audience. There's no overlap. So as soon as someone hits in that top level, they jump down, they move down, they move down, and they're not necessarily overlapping in any of the previous audiences. That's a really good way to maximize your effectiveness and certainly maximize your marketing dollar. Until next time, kids, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out the demo, give us a call.